different cultural streams. Within your being, deep in sleep, there lies a treasure, yours to keep. It lies unconscious in its veiled retreat, until your strength has grown to ask the question who the seed has sown. St. John, the Great, in his opening verse, enlightens the world how at the turning point of time a God came down to earthly realm, from lofty heights, from spheres divine. For all mankind he came, entrusting into each heart's shrine a task for everyone again to find. When love, light, and spirit life he left behind, while streams of earthly thoughts in balance try to live, long treasured springs of wisdom still have much to give. Yet, into distant future growing, love alone, and suffering from compassion flowing, will become a and vacant knowing. When overwhelming worldwide needs inspire us and lift the veils from wisdom's deeds, then go, my friend, and find the spring where thoughts are clear, and Michaelic birds for you will sing. The boat is slim, the current swift, the lighting dim, and easily it floats adrift, until the Michaelic sign does brightly shine. It is a sword of iron, forged at night, which will provide forever healing light. It guides, enlightens all of us, who as yet cannot see that being serious is alone the key remaining, which will set us free. Going back in history, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of human beings. And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehendeth it not. There was a man sent from God, whose name was John. The same came for a witness, to bear witness of the light, that all men through him might believe. He was not the light, but was sent to bear witness of that light. That was the true light, which enlightens all human beings, that cometh into the world. He was in the world, and the world was made by him, yet the world knew him not. He came unto his own, and his own received him not. But as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God, even to them that believe on his name, which were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. In post-Atlantean epochs, human beings have begun to feel the distance growing between themselves and the spiritual world. It has become harder to see and hear spiritual beings. Why? Because humans started to explore with luciferic interest the earthly realms through yearnings and passions, and reduce their work on the earth through Ahrimanic temptations, tools, and technology. These counterforces with evil intent have been placed into the evolution so that human beings may learn and gain in strength and wisdom on the path of repeated incarnations on earth. Throughout the various cultural epochs, humanity acquired new faculties through their God-given thinking, feeling, and willing. These soul faculties were developed in the following epochs: Ancient Egypt, 2907 to 747 BC, into the sentient or feeling soul. Ancient Greece, Rome, 747 BC to 1413 AD, into the intellectual soul, and in the Anglo-Germanic epoch, 1413 to 3573 AD, into the consciousness soul. Exact thinking, the acquisition of logic, and eventually scientific thinking, feeling, and willing are all part of present qualities and interest. Because of Ahrimanic intervention, there is a danger today which one can experience in human dependency on computers, cell phones, cars, and ever new wonders of technology. This is without doubt bringing us closer to the earthly realm and severing our connection with the spiritual world, with God, the Christ, and with our angelic beings. Ahriman and Lucifer are trying to create their own kingdoms, for which they require loyal followers. Nowadays, many people have lost or are leaving the God-given path, which in our time is meant to bring us back to the spiritual world through a new clairvoyance and clairaudience. A new seeing and hearing of spiritual beings acquired here on earth has become possible through the Christ for every human being who has the strength of will to attempt it. Where can one find the help needed for such a path? Highest initiates were and are connected to these above-mentioned epochs. They were and are still guided in their tasks by the Lord of the Sun, Christ, and the planetary archangels. All this has to do with Jesus of Nazareth. Later, after the baptism in the Jordan, Jesus Christ. A song to our archangels, very high angels, so close to God, create new life in us alone when we help to seed our earthly life through loving deeds and living thoughts. Archangels living high above in planetary spheres, listen, you rightly hear. They guard our organs and teaching us while protecting us from any fear. What are the planets? Planets are spheres in or on which higher evolved spirits live who carry certain characteristic tasks for the evolution of the world and of mankind. Sun and moon, as looked at from the earth, appeared to people of previous centuries as planets encircling the earth, although in the astronomical concept of the solar system they have different functions. Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto were discovered only when telescopes became available. They are disregarded here. The Archangels, ruling the planets and some of our organs. The number 7 is very important. Why? We all know that there are 7 days in the week. Perhaps we have heard of 7 planets which are connected to 7 archangels. They look after 7 of our organs. All this you can find in this chart. However, what is most important is that in the center we have the sun connected to our heart. Our heart and the sun connect to the Son of the Father, the Christ. Maybe surprisingly, the given color is white. Often white is considered not to be a color, but in fact it contains all colors. Surprised? No, surely not, because all the colors belong to the Christ. The planets in relation to man, plants, grains, and metals. In this chart, we have extended the relationship of the number 7 to include processes in the human body, the 4 temperaments, soul qualities, and then grains, trees, and metals. Our temperaments we know as melancholic, Saturn or Raphael, choleric, Mars, Samael, sanguine, Mercury, Raphael, and phlegmatic, Moon, Gabriel. It is interesting to know that each one of them is connected to a planet and its archangel. Closely connected are also our soul qualities. Thinking connected to Saturn, feeling to our center, the heart and the sun, the Christ, and willing to Gabriel and the moon. Grains, trees, and metals all form part of the evolution of the earth, and they bring with them the purity from heaven through the planets and their archangels. The number 7 forms the foundation for everything in this way. Much effort will be required from mankind to support the earth's evolution with knowledge, purity of heart, and selfless willing. What are the liberating and destiny-forming planets? This can only be understood if one considers active archangels who carry the consciousness of these planets in relation to birth and death of the human being. Liberating are Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars. This could be understood as preserving our freedom as long as it does not harm our development. Destiny-forming are Mercury, Venus, and Moon. They relate to karmic consequences. The harmony-creating Christ was known as the God of the Sun under different names in previous cultural epochs, harmonizes their decisions. The Christ is now the Lord of Karma.